Hey, my beautiful people. Gigi here, rolling in with a bottle of Mountain Dew, a heating pad on standby, and zero patience for Felicia and Frankie's nonsense today. So tell me, how are you guys all holding up today? I'm hoping your pain is manageable and you guys are having a wonderful day. Today we're kicking the door down on one of the most chaotic, sneakiest, most frustrating parts of this chronic illness. That moment when Felicia, our shady fibro, and Frankie, the PSA punk, stop messing with your body and just start setting camp up in your brain. We're talking memory glitches, emotional whiplash, motivation that vanishes faster than someone who still owes you money. So grab your weighted blanket like it's battle armor, wrap yourself in whatever grace you got left, and take this all in. You're not alone. This ride, it's wild, it's unfiltered. Sometimes it's hilarious, sometimes it's straight up heartbreaking. But we're breaking it all down Felicia and Frankie's way. With sass, with science, with the real kind of talk that your doctor somehow left out. All right, let's get into it. No filters, no fluff, just us and the truth. This channel is about learning. I am just a regular girl riding the chronic illness roller coaster with Felicia, Fibro, and Frankie, PSA, sharing life one flare at a time. I'm here to keep it real, connect with fellow warriors, and sprinkle in hope, humor, and heart. I am not a doctor, just a girl living with her own experiences in this journey with chronic illnesses. Felicia's got my brain in a blender. Let's talk about that kind of brain fog that turns simple things into full-on side quests. I walked into the kitchen the other day with purpose, like I had a mission, y'all. Got in there, stood in the middle of the room. Oh, why am I here again for? Oh, yeah. So naturally, I did what I think everybody would do. I opened the refrigerator, like it's going to remind me or something. And spoiler, it didn't. It just blew a bunch of cold air, which did feel good, by the way. But yeah, I felt the grapes over there judging me. So I walked away, only to realize about 20 minutes later that I was going in there to grab my medication. You know, the ones that I literally can't skip, or Frankie throws a tantrum like a toddler who missed nap time. Yeah, classic. Or let's talk about the time that I was watching a baking show. A baking show. I tried. That was the word. I rewound the same scene 3 times because I couldn't for the life of me remember what just happened. And y'all, it wasn't even a complex plot. It was a baking show. Like, how did we go from flour to cake? And when did Susan get eliminated? At that point, I wasn't watching TV. I was in a full-blown time loop. Felicia had me buffering harder than dial-up in the 90s. And yeah, there's always, did I take my meds? Because, that's the notorious one. My husband, yeah, he deserves medals. I'm sitting in the bedroom and I got the pill bottle in my hand and I'm staring at it like I'm not sure. Guess I was waiting for it to give me a sign. And I turned to him and I'm like real serious. And I said, did I just take these? Have I taken my meds? Do you know if I've taken my night meds? God love him. He just sits there and shakes his head at me, probably thinking, oh my God, again? Seriously? But he just says, yes, babe. Yeah, you did. Just now, babe. And I'm like, oh, yo, I was right there and I still missed it. Felicia had me playing guessing games. I was definitely trying to guess what task I was trying to do. But guess what? I was losing horribly. Horribly. That's fibro fog, though, for you. Some days, super chill. Other days, she's tap dancing and she's wearing a feather boa. She's flipping up all the switches and she's turning them all off. All the memory switches, yeah, she's turning them all off. She's not just annoying. She's unpredictable. She's sneaky and she shows up like that one cousin, the one that says, I just need to crash for a night. and like 3 weeks later still crashed out on your couch. Yeah, those would be the ones I'm talking about. Emotions on a roller coaster, and sis, you didn't even buy a ticket. Let me just say it straight. Some days I cry, and I don't even know why. Some days I do know why, and those are the worst days. Like the other day, I just wanted to sit outside. That's it. Nothing big. Just a little bit of sunshine on my face, hear my grandbabies laughing, looking at the yard, all proud because, I'm out there. Look at me, I thought. I made it out here. I showed up, and I'm doing this dang thing. But then, as soon as I put it out there in the universe, that pain creeps in. Not loud, not all at once. No, Felicia, she likes to sneak in nice and slow. So she's like that little slow leak that you have on your raft, and you don't even notice it's happening until you're in the water soaking wet. And Frankie's not far behind. He's usually slamming every joint with that deep bone humming fatigue, the kind that you're so tired you can't even lift your joints up because they hurt so bad because they're so tired. Yeah. And suddenly that moment of peace, that it turns into heartbreak because this body, yeah, it used to move. It used to do all kinds of things. Used to dance and scoop up the babies, twirl them around in the yard. We used to chase dreams, chase bubbles, and now it protests every single breath I take. Even the breeze at times feels like it's too much. And then there I am, tears mixing with sweat, not because I'm weak, because I'm grieving. I'm grieving me, not self-pity, not drama, not overreacting, just grief. Raw, unspoken, sacred grief for who I used to be. But y'all, it's so is the pride. So is the showing up. So is the part where you made it to the porch and you waved to the babies with tear-streaked smiles. Even if 5 minutes later I had to crawl back into bed and cry into my heating pad like it's my emotional support pillow, I showed up. We showed up. That's what matters. That's love. That's strength. That's what I want my grandbabies to remember. Not what Gigi couldn't do, but that I fought like hell to be there, to be there and do things with them. And don't even get me started on the small, simple joys that the chronic illness tries to take from you. Like gardening. That was my sanctuary. My peace, my pulling the weeds, talking to the tomatoes like they're my therapist. That was my church. But now, oh my gosh, it's a whole freaking production. Watch out for the bug bites. Scrub your hands like a surgeon. Careful, soil has bacteria. It could send your immune system into a tailspin. You could get an infection. Y'all, it's dirt. It's not out. I'm not out here licking the flower bed. I just want to live a little bit. Daggone. Everything in this chronic life comes with a caution label now. It's like the world became one big giant caution. May cause flare-ups, may cause illness, may cause death, may cause whatever else. And I'm out here barefooted and I'm tipping through it like I'm trying to defuse a bomb with my heating pad and a bottle of Tylenol. And then you hit that emotional wall again. Maybe it's from a comment, from a nurse with no bedside manner, treating you like you're being dramatic instead of disabled. Maybe it's the doctor who sighs when you mention another symptom, or the person who says, well, you don't look sick. Those rages, that helplessness, that heartbreak, it's not weakness, it's overreaction. It's not overreaction. It's your nervous system in survival mode. While your serotonin is in the corner with sunglasses, like, girl, I am on break. And you start asking yourself, Do I live a long, safe, bubble wrapped life? Do I roll the dice, dirt under my nails, praying that Felicia and Frankie don't come after me tomorrow? Because let me tell you guys, these illnesses, they've already taken so much. But man, they sure aren't taking my garden either. I did compromise. My garden is much, much, much smaller than it was last year. So, kind of disappointing. Haven't really been in it much this summer. I mean, I planted and that was pretty much about the extent of it this year. I've been watering. And of course, I wear my gloves to pull weeds now, and I can't stay out there without some off to spare, to get rid of the bugs. Compromise. Amygdala. What is amygdala, you ask? Well, let's talk about that little almond-shaped nugget deep in your brain. It's deep down in there. And normally its job is to keep us safe by reacting to fear or stress. Kind of like tiny smoke alarms going off when you're in danger. But when you live with chronic pain, that sucker goes off full drama mode constantly. It's screaming, alert, alert, screaming, oh my gosh, something's wrong, oh my gosh, even when nothing new is happening. It's like Felicia and Frankie took the amygdala out for mimosas and got her all hyped up. And now she's reacting to everything. Minor inconvenience, panic, someone looking at you sideways, anxiety. You woke up in pain again, boom, sadness, frustration. The whole emotional buffet. I mean, we've talked about this before, how sometimes I can just go about my day and I try to hold it together and then bam, I'm in tears over a dropped fork or a pile of laundry. That's not me being dramatic. That's just my nervous system being stuck in red alert. Thanks to this unholy trio of chronic pain, stress, and an overworked amygdala, she's tired. I'm tired. And here we are. You're not overreacting. You're reacting to being chronically dismissed, misunderstood, and straight up wore out. Memory goes MIA. I'm staring at this little note, and I have a blank look on my face, I'm sure, because all it says is to call Dr. L. And in my little brain, I have the wheels. I'm pretty sure that, I probably did look stupid and had smoke coming out of my ears because I'm wondering who in the world is Dr. L? I don't even know who that is. Great. It's a roller coaster, and it's not the fun kind. I was supposed to call the doctor. I'm supposed to clean the bathroom. I'm supposed to check in on my dad. And guess what I did? None of the above. None. Not any of it. And it wasn't because I was being lazy. It wasn't poor time management. Well, it probably was a lot of that. But that was Frankie slamming the big red abort memory mission button mid-thought. See, psoriatic arthritis, aka our dear old buddy Frankie, doesn't just show up on your joints and your skin. It can also spark inflammation that affects your brain, your memory, your focus. Suddenly you're the main character in a mystery show trying to solve what the heck you were doing 30 seconds ago while balancing a heating pad on one shoulder and talking to the dog like he's your personal assistant. And let's not forget Felicia over there, Fibro's queen of chaos, clouding up your brain with that trademark fog. The one where words disappear, time gets slippery, and simple tasks feel like puzzles with missing pieces. So what do? You cling to your sticky notes like they're sacred scrolls, of course. You talk to yourself out loud like a cartoon character with no shame. You set alarms for everything, even brushing your teeth. And if that's not genius survival strategy, I don't know what is. Because no, friend, you're not failing. You're just living inside a storm and you're doing your best to steer the daggone boat. Motivation? Yeah, she packed her bags and left. See, I'm lying in bed and I know full well what I want to get done today when I get up. I want to get in the shower. I want to take a nice hot shower. Maybe even throw on a cute little top. Spritz a little dry shampoo like I'm going somewhere. Yeah. But instead, I lay there and I stare at the ceiling fan like it is going to do something fabulous. Yeah, it hits deeply, daily, every day. This is my morning conversation with myself every single day. But that don't mean it's going to happen. Nah. See, wanting to do something and actually having the capacity to do it, those are two entirely different battles. Chronic pain doesn't just tap you on the shoulder, it ambushes you like a toddler with a glitter bomb. It takes whatever energy you had, it divides it by stress, it subtracts a little more thanks to depression, anxiety, or that good old grief that's knocking at your door. And then Frankie shows up and eats 3 spoons before you even had a chance to open your eyes. Let me say this out loud and clear for the people in the back. You are not lazy. You're rationing your spoons like a dang survivalist at a zombie apocalypse. You're calculating whether brushing your hair today is worth the wrist pain. And the dishes, the laundry, the dog hair fused with the rugs like they're forming a new species. Windows looking like they lost a fight with a storm cloud. Hey, if anybody thinks that's the markers of failure, then they can come over and fold the laundry and explain how you're supposed to vacuum when your body feels like it was hit by a cement truck driven by all kinds of regrets. Because around here, motivation looks different. Sometimes the win is opening your eyes. Sometimes it's a whisper. Not today, Satan. Not today. Sometimes it's crying and then laughing and then crying again because you remembered something sad and then saw a meme about some emotional support raccoons. And sometimes showing up at all in the middle of the mess, the fatigue, the grief, that's the win. That's huge. You're not lazy. You're fighting battles people can't see with a strength that they wouldn't even survive with for 10 minutes. Because this is not for the faint or the lighthearted. This is hard stuff that we have to learn to adapt and get used to. You're not in pain. You're just not in pain. You're in survival mode. And let's be real for a second, okay? Chronic pain doesn't just hurt. It hijacks your whole life. It's not just your joints, your back, your skin. It's your brain. It's your mood, your motivation. It's all of it. And if nobody's ever told you this before, let me be the one. You're not lazy. You're not weak. You're not just tired. You're doing your absolute best while living in a body that feels like it's got 47 tabs open and every single one of them are glitching. Remember those weeks that I talked about? The ones I named with all the sass that I could muster, no sick days allowed, the week's grit and grace, or my personal favorite, Hot Mess Express. Yeah, that wasn't for cute content. That's survival. That was me crawling through another week where my body decided to go full toddler tantrum. And I was still expected to show up for my grandbabies, for my husband, my house, my kids, even for myself. And of those days, I was outside with my family. I wasn't doing much, just supervising. And believe me, even that was pushing it. Frankie, my psoriaticarthritis, was already throwing a fit in my hips and my back. Felicia, Fibro, had decided to microwave my muscles from the inside out. And I felt like I was in a frying pan. I was so hot. But I stayed out there because I wanted to be out there with all of them. I didn't want to be just inside laying in the bed listening to life happen on without me. I wanted to be there. I guess I have FOMO. I don't want to miss out on things. But that's what survival mode looks like. It's choosing connection even when your body's begging you to hide. It's knowing that if you push too far, you'll collapse, but you still give what you can. You know, it's like that walk with my husband that I took a couple weeks ago. Let me tell you, don't even get me started. I knew it was going to cost me. I knew the next day I'd wake up stiff, hurting, possibly flaring for days. But I also needed that moment. I needed to feel like more than just a diagnosis, more than my illness, more than a pain chart, more than my pain. I needed to feel like me, holding his hand, being in the fresh air, hearing the birds, even if my knees were screaming with every step I took. It was a deposit into my soul, even if it came straight out of my spoon bank. Because fight or flight mode doesn't shut off even when you're living with chronic illness. Our bodies are in constant state of emergency. It's like trying to rest while a fire alarm chirps every 30 seconds. You want to relax, to reset, but how can you when your brain and nervous system are being held hostage by pain? That walk, that supervising the yard day, yeah, those moments when you show up to life, even when everything in you screams, don't do it. That's survival mode. That's strength. That's resilience in real time. So if today all you managed to do was sit up, drink some water, or tell yourself that we're going to try again tomorrow, I see you. I am you. This isn't weakness. This is warrior work. You're not lazy. You're not flaky. You're not emotional for no reason. You're not broken. You're dealing with pain that hijacks your mind, your spirit, your everything. But you keep showing up for your family, your faith, your podcasts. Well, I keep showing up for the podcast. And most importantly, I have to show up for myself more than anything. And that, my friends, that's a superpower. If this episode hit home, you guys know what to do. Hit like, subscribe, and share with someone who needs a little reminder that they're not alone in this mess too. Drop your thoughts, your stories in this comment, or hit me up on socials because here your voice matters and your story is sacred. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And remember, keep showing up, keep being real, and keep owning your journey, one fierce step at a time. Until next time, this is Gigi signing off with love, grace, and a dash of sass. Be safe this week, you guys.